Good afternoon. I just noticed I always do that. I always start recording and go, "Ooh, what time is it? Is it a good afternoon or evening?" It's a good afternoon. The weather is behaving right now, but has been complete shite. Which is fine. It was not so bad the other day, and that is neither here nor there really. I just bought a laptop, which is not the subject of this video, but I'm chuffed to bits with it. Uh, I have I have had the same. You know what? I've had the same 2007 MacBook for quite a while now, and I inherited it. Here's my toast. I inherited it from my sister, so I've never bought my own laptop, and so I suppose that's I hadn't really thought about why. I hadn't really thought about why, but I had real difficulty engaging with the kind of research element for finding a good laptop, something that would be good enough within my budget, which was pretty damn low. Um, and I don't need super high specs for the stuff I use my computer for the most, but I do occasional audio recording like DAW. I used Logic and things like that, and occasional video editing. I don't edit this stuff because I can't be bothered, so it just goes straight on YouTube. But I've done some of that. So, not just a piece of crap, essentially, which is what I've been using. So, I got a really good deal on this, I thought, because after doing all the research, and one of the Amazon listings leaping up by a little bit, so it was like 500 odd, it was in my budget, but it had gone up by like 30 quid or something, and I was like, okay, well, anyway, and then I was in CEX yesterday and found a very similar laptop for 300. So yeah, went back and got that today, and it works. A joke I made on Instagram today. People say about Macs. My beard looks a bit fuzzy, a bit puby. Um, People say about Macs, it just fucking works. I've gotten a Lenovo thing, but as a laptop that is less than 13 years out of date, or mainly the OS, I think is it. It just fucking works. It's Windows 10, so things work for it, as opposed to Mac 10.6, which is yeah. Anyway, so um, on to from some very up to date software to my comfort zone. Back to my comfort zone. Oh, I'm giving away the price. That's very gauche, isn't it? Although £2.50. I threw that in for the bargain today. I thought I can, I can treat myself to something else. So Jak 2. This is a game. Ooh, I had forgotten about the when I played this. Now, let me get this right. I came to the PS2 late. In that generation, um, I first had a GameCube, which was kind of the first home console I bought. I'd had kind of hand-me-downs and things before. I did have a PlayStation somehow. I will have gotten that second hand somewhere, I think. Can't remember quite how I got a PlayStation 1. Um, and then I think I passed that on. This is a different story. So I had a GameCube, and that was pretty much all I had, as well as maybe an old Mega Drive. kicking about. And I think there was a good deal going on PlayStation 2. Um, I think it was Game at the time. Yeah, it was. It wasn't Electronics Boutique. They were still around at this time, but uh, yeah, anyway. So there was a deal going on PlayStation 2, and I think this game maybe came with it. It was, I think it was one of the first games I had on PS2. I don't know whether I would have bought it in such a hurry um, if it hadn't been bundled with it, because I played Jak and Daxter 1 at a friend's house a couple of times, so that was it. I've never played it through or anything. I'd like to. Um, I remember there was other stuff bundled with the PlayStation 2. True Crime LA. I had forgotten about that. I just traded that in. I just kind of gave it back. And maybe like a racing game. I can't remember. I think this was bundled with it. Um, uh, but yeah, I'd forgotten about that. But it felt like, I suppose it felt like a new generation, but getting the new console, even though I was playing GameCube, which was the same. Anyway, so this was my kind of, it wasn't my introduction to Jak and Daxter, but it was the one I played myself. I really liked it. As I said, I can't think that I would have gotten it, in a hurry myself. The stuff I was really interested on PlayStation 2, well, I don't know. I don't know what exactly drew me to PlayStation 2 in particular, other than the fact that it was maybe a good deal, which I wouldn't have been even spending my own money on it at the time, I don't think. My dad would have gotten it for me. Um, Here's the thing. I remember, oh God, there's this really funny, I think I'd forgotten until a few years ago and forgotten again, till now. My, it was either when hmm, it was either when okay, well, jinxed it by saying that I don't, well, I jinxed two things. By saying that I don't edit these videos because I just ran out of space and had to delete some stuff. So I'll have to use the video editing software, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, but that means I can break in whatever free video editing software I find for the new laptop, using, as I have been, iMovie. I only use it really for basic stuff. And also, the weather has gone terrible again. I don't know if you can hear that. The rain against the window. Anyway, so I had remembered something. Either when I was proposing to my dad um, that I get a PlayStation, or, and I think this is more true, when I was proposing I get a PS2, he perhaps jokingly said, "I'll consider it if you write me a 200 word essay, whatever, um, on why you deserve a PS2 or why you should get a PS2. What would be the benefit?" Um, and I did it. I don't know whether I think he probably did say it in earnest. To be honest, it was funny. It was a joke, but it was also, come on, tell me why. And I did it, and it surprised. If it didn't surprise him, it was surprising to maybe my mom, my sisters, or something. And probably told my friend. I don't know. I don't even. I remember surprisingly little around this because I put a bit of effort into it. I mean, it was really not very hard work. I think it was for the PS2, and yet I can't remember what I was specifically interested in playing on it. Um, but the first games that I got for it, and I remember this was at Games Exchange on Leaf Walk. The first games I got for it, and I had forgotten how seminal this game was to my PS2 experience. Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy X. Um, I can't remember quite what else I got around that time, but those were some of the first games I got, you know, off my own back, that I looked for, or that I found and decided to buy. Uh, I'd forgotten quite how. I mean, I think of Kingdom Hearts as occupying this kind of weird um, secondary part of the games I was playing around that time, but it was one of the first games I got for the PS2, so I must have. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if I'd even quite put those pieces together in my head when I was replaying it a couple of years ago, um, which I would have. I replay these games kind of often with the idea of revisiting, a past experience and where I was when I played it first. Those circumstances, the other things in my life that it reminds me of. I don't remember being reminded of that when I first played it. How early it was in the PS2 for me. Hmm, interesting stuff. Anyway, so Jak 2, I probably just got it with the machine. Here we are talking about the game again. And I enjoyed it. It's kind of like it's like friendly-ish GTA or Jak Gone Bad. Um, he doesn't talk in the first game, as I remember. He talks in this one. It's all a bit edgy, but the game's really good, as I remember. And funnily enough, it has, I suppose, more in common with uh, Ratchet and Clank, which is obviously, pardon me, it's a related series because Naughty Dog, Insomniac, just like Crash and Spyro were related. I think they shared offices or were like over the hallway from one another back in the day. But yeah, this one being a kind of run and gun affair has more in common with Ratchet and Clank even. I wonder whether that was a conscious. Yeah, I mean, they probably would have recognized that at least. Um, yeah, I remember this being really good. I don't think I completed it because I seem to remember what felt like an oversight to me. If you, I remember when I got to the last area, or what I thought was the last area. Is it Metalhead, the name of the boss? Um, I got all ammoed up and went to fight the boss, and then I didn't win, and there must have been a continue function as opposed to like a load a new game. So it kept my progress sort of, but put me back towards um, before I'd fought the boss. And I seem to remember it didn't replenish my ammo. Um, and I seem to remember thinking that I couldn't get any more of a lot of the ammo, or maybe it was really tedious to get. I don't remember you being able to get it in shops, if there were any shops. Um, so I never completed it. I remember that was really frustrating, like being sent back to this point before having ammo. Oh, my screen's gone dark because 5% battery. I'm about to run out of battery as well as space. Okay. Yeah, so I never completed it, but I really enjoyed it. I remember being quite long, or at least I seem to remember uh, playing it for quite a while. But who knows? Anyway, I will play it. It was super cheap. I've heard the third one is shite, but who knows? And then that was kind of it for it, wasn't it? Um, uh, Apart from like spin-offs and things. I look forward to playing it probably. And that is that for now. Yeah, cool.